7th of March, 1999. The grid finally forms in Melbourne for the start of the Formula One World Championship. The story of the season should be set in stone, with McLaren seemingly leagues ahead in pre-season testing, and Ferrari likely their only challengers. But the last hour has been chaos.
Hang on a second, Rubius car's gone as well.
Pole sitter and reigning champion Mika Häkkinen was forced to jump into McLaren's spare car, then almost took the garage with him to the grid. Then the first start was aborted when both stewards caught on fire.
Smoke pouring out of the back of the car.
As the second formation lap started, Häkkinen's teammate David Coulthard struggled to wrestle his car off the line. And Michael Schumacher's Ferrari refused to move, forcing the two-time world champion to start from the back of the grid.
Michael Schumacher is not the top Ferrari.
Ferrari's number 2 driver Eddie Irvine found himself with open space ahead and the team's hopes suddenly on his shoulders. It was a taste of what was to come. 16 rounds of plot twists, tension, and era-defining action. The start lights flash on one by one. Engines roar, excitement builds. The lights go out, and one of F1's greatest years begins. This is how the 1999 Formula One season was won. From the start, it all seems to be going to plan for Häkkinen and McLaren. Irvine manages to sweep past the yellow Jordan of Heinz-Harald Frentzen at turn 1, but is powerless to stop the silver cars disappearing into the distance. But it doesn't take long for McLaren's plan to come unstuck.
Well, this is the accident. Look, I think he lost his rear wing because that's not a driving error.
When a high-speed spin for 1997 champion Jacques Villeneuve brings out the safety car.
Now, this is the critical point. It means he's losing an 18-second lead.
First, Coulthard's gearbox sticks in 6th, forcing the Scot to retire with a hydraulic issue.
Coulthard
missing. Where is he? What's happened to David Coulthard? Is staggering into the pits and out of the race.
Then, when the safety car comes in, Häkkinen puts the pedal down.
Häkkinen very slow away.
And nothing happens.
Got a problem.
Häkkinen's got a problem. Look, so what amazing.
He can only watch as the rest of the field surges past.
And I suspect Häkkinen has got no throttle.
Irvine, who has never won a race before, finds himself in the lead. He holds on for the remaining laps and takes the checkered flag to become the first winner of 1999.
Up goes the visor, out comes the fist. Oh, well done, Eddie Irvine.
It's a different story for Schumacher, who suffers a puncture and front wing damage. Long pit stops for repairs and a replacement steering wheel dump him back to last place. He sets the fastest lap of the race, but it's scant comfort for the famously competitive German.
This disappointment is not going to put us down a little bit, I tell you.
Ferrari arrives in Sao Paulo having clocked up an extra 2,500 miles of testing. But it doesn't pay off.
Mika Häkkinen, after his problems in Australia, in pole position again.
On Saturday, Schumacher is out-qualified not only by both McLarens, but also the steward of local hero Rubens Barrichello. Once again, it should be McLaren's race to lose. But at the start, the ghosts of Australia come back to haunt them. Coulthard stalls as the lights go out, forcing Schumacher behind to take evasive action.
A terrible start for David Coulthard, a good one for Mika Häkkinen.
Then, as Häkkinen exits the fast Curva do Sol on lap 4,
Häkkinen's in trouble. Häkkinen drops back.
Barrichello takes the lead of the race to the joy of the Brazilian fans,
Barrichello leads.
with Schumacher and Irvine hot on his tail. He doesn't hold on to the lead for long, as the two Ferraris pit early and then put the hammer down. When Barrichello emerges from his own stop, he sees the two red cars out ahead.
Schumacher takes the lead and Mika Häkkinen moves up into second place.
And his day goes even further downhill when the Stewart Ford's engine gives up spectacularly spectacularly right in front of the main grandstand.
Well, a downcast, crestfallen Rubens Barrichello.
Hakkinen, meanwhile, has got back up to speed after his gearbox issue and is using the pace of the McLaren to hunt down Schumacher. The leader pits first and Hakkinen pushes his car to the edge. A lightning pit stop by the McLaren mechanics follows.
8.6, 9.1, it's very fast.
And he comes back out just ahead of the Ferrari.
There's Schumacher.
Hakkinen goes on to take the win, to McLaren's relief.
Over the line goes the Finn. Victory for Hakkinen, victory for McLaren.
They've shown that when their car works, it's hard to beat. Schumacher follows him through 5 seconds later. The two-time champion did everything he could, but was still beaten by the faster car. Some way behind, Frentzen runs out of fuel on the final lap. But as he's the only other car on the same lap as the leaders, he keeps his third position. Coulthard is less lucky, being forced to retire with even more gearbox issues. It's a worrying trend for McLaren, who have seen 3 mechanical retirements from just 2 races. And as the grid forms at the legendary Imola circuit for round 3, McLaren hope that it won't be business as usual. They've locked out the front row for the 3rd time in a row, but Ferrari's extra testing has started to show, with Schumacher starting 3rd and less than 0.2 of a second off pole position.
The San Marino Grand Prix is go!
Hakkinen speeds away from the start. Running light on fuel, he quickly builds up a 12-second lead and is soon far ahead of the pressure of the chasing Ferraris. Until coming around to start his 18th lap.
Oh, off goes Mika Hakkinen out of the race.
It was weird. I mean, it happened very fast. Coming off the curb, the rear tires dropped back in the tarmac and he spun the car around. Looks like it was my mistake. I couldn't handle it.
The Finn's unforced error allows Coulthard through into the lead, but gives Schumacher in second an unexpected boost.
There is Michael Schumacher pushing. He's on a charge.
The Scot makes his only pit stop, and Schumacher takes the lead in front of the joyful Tifosi. But McLaren know that as long as Coulthard keeps up the pace, he should be in a good position to win, ahead of the 2-stopping Ferrari. He pulls up behind Giancarlo Fisichella and Olivier Panis, 2 backmarkers absorbed in their own battle. Despite being shown the blue flags to let the faster car through, they block Coulthard and he slides off the track. By the time he finally gets past, he's lost 10 crucial seconds. Schumacher comes in for his second stop, and just 6 seconds later, he's back underway.
Very, very quick stop indeed.
He rejoins and keeps the lead, before going on to take the checkered flag in front of a rapturous home crowd.
As Michael Schumacher comes down to win the San Marino Grand Prix.
It's Ferrari's first win in Imola for 16 years.
And the Ferrari team are justifiably absolutely euphoric.
The other championship contenders have less cause to celebrate. Irvine's engine blows to cap off his quiet race, then Frentzen spins on the Ulsterman's oil and ends his race in the wall. At the post-race press conference, Schumacher celebrates taking the championship lead.
I'd say this weekend, if it was a team victory. I mean, we knew we were lacking performance the first 2 races, but we knew as well the championship can't go that way if we want to win it, and so we had to turn it around, and this weekend, I guess, to some extent, we turned it around. We did it.
And Coulthard rues his missed opportunity.
I had the performance to win today. When I was behind him, I lost a lot of time in the traffic, and that was the difference between coming out behind Michael or in front of him.
F1 descends on Monaco once more for round 4 of the season, with glamour and celebrity in tow. It's a unique circuit that has a history of jumbling the established order, and Ferrari will want to take that advantage. Schumacher's weekend starts badly as he clips the inside of Saint-Devote in free practice and buries his car in the barriers.
At the moment it's not possible to repair, and Michael started with a ticker.
But it doesn't dent his confidence, as in qualifying he jumps in the spare and goes on to set a time good enough for Ferrari's first pole position of the year. Hakkinen behind him is going quickly, but heading towards to back corner comes across a stopped car and waved yellow flags. He barely slows and comes around to take pole by just 0.06 of a second.
Because I lift off a little bit and I lift my arm up. It was everything under control, so it was good. I saw everything.
To be honest, I will be surprised if it stays the order as it is now, because yellow flags is yellow flags, and we'll see what happens later.
The stewards side with Hakkinen, and on race day he lines up at the front for the 4th time in a row. A determined Schumacher slots into second with Coulthard third and Irvine 4th.
Go, go, go!
The lights go out and Schumacher makes up for his lost pole.
Schumacher leads! Schumacher, an absolutely sensational start!
He disappears off down the narrow streets of Monte Carlo. Soon after, a blown engine forces Coulthard to retire for the 3rd time in 4 races.
Look at that smoke again coming out of David Coulthard's car.
And Hakkinen is scuppered by the same thing, as oil from a failing back marker causes him to slide straight onto the runoff at Mirabeau Corner. Irvine, who had trailed him by 20 seconds, is now right on Hakkinen's tail.
Hakkinen in, Hakkinen in!
After both have stopped, the Ferrari leads the McLaren.
Yes, he is indeed. So Irvine keeps track position.
But nobody can stop Schumacher. And the German comes around to take victory by over 30 seconds from his teammate. It's an emphatic win in a Ferrari that had been all but written off just 4 races ago.
Victory for Schumacher and Ferrari in 1999.
In contrast, McLaren's fast but fragile car is severely hampering their championship campaign. With Schumacher on 26 points streaking away at the top of the table, the British team need to pull something out of the bag to get back in contention. Race day in Barcelona. Ferrari's slow but steady resurgence sees the front of the grid more competitive than ever, with less than 0.2 of a second separating the top 4. Hakkinen starts on pole for the 5th time in a row, ahead of Irvine, Coulthard and Schumacher.
There's only 0.2 of a second covering the top 4 on the grid.
McLaren hope that something will start to go right for them this year. The lights go out, and it's Ferrari's turn to suffer a start line setback.
Both the Ferraris have been passed. It's a bad start for both the Ferraris.
Eddie Irvine gives it too much gas, spins his rear wheels, and makes a poor getaway. Schumacher behind is stuck between his teammate in front and a fast-starting Coulthard to his left. This leaves an accelerating Jacques Villeneuve to power into 3rd place.
We tried starts all weekend and they never worked, and this one just worked, so that was a lucky one.
The Canadian's BAR is just quick enough to hold off the faster Ferraris, and Schumacher can do nothing to stop the 2 McLarens from pulling away.
Terrible start for Ferrari, and meantime Mika Hakkinen is making the most of his advantage, and so is David Coulthard.
Schumacher eventually jumps Villeneuve in the pits and emerges in 3rd, but by now the damage has been done.
Mika Hakkinen comes through to win in Spain.
Hakkinen seals an easy win with Coulthard 2nd and Schumacher a distant 3rd. And as the F1 circus heads off to Canada, McLaren can see the glimmer of season success. Ferrari strikes first in Montreal. Schumacher breaks Hakkinen's pole position monopoly, snatching the front grid slot by just 0.03 of a second. He's determined to hold on to the position at the start.
It is go! Michael Schumacher moves across.
Chopping across the bow of the McLaren off the line, he takes control of the race and starts to build a lead. A few laps later, and further around the track, a red and yellow flag is being waved at the final chicane, indicating a slippery surface. The banner on the wall beneath reads "Welcome to Quebec." Schumacher barrels through the corner.
Schumacher out of the race. Michael Schumacher slams out of turn 13 machine into the wall and is furious with himself.
Schumacher's loss is Häkkinen's gain, and the reigning champion comes through to take the lead. Near the end of the race, Frenzen's brakes fail and he ploughs straight into the barrier at turn 4. The German is unharmed, but the race finishes under the safety car for the first time in F1's history. But Häkkinen doesn't mind, with a second win in a row and a 10-point swing, handing him the lead of the championship.
McLaren have made some inroads into Ferrari's World Championship lead.
Some way behind, Coulthard and Irvine had engaged in a battle of the number 2 drivers, with neither coming out on top.
Out goes Irvine, out goes Coulthard. Oh my goodness!
Irvine manages to recover his way back to 3rd, thanks to some outlandish overtakes.
But goes Eddie Irvine all over the place. They both go over the apex of turn 13.
But Coulthard finishes 7th, and just outside the points. When he's calmed down, Schumacher is philosophical about his crash.
But that was very clearly a mistake by myself. Just lost it and hit the wall. I seem to make one a year, and I hope that is the last one I make this year.
But he's not the only world champion to fall victim to the exit of Montreal's turn 14. Both Damon Hill and Jacques Villeneuve end their races in the wall there too, earning it the nickname, the Wall of Champions. 2 weeks later at Magny-Cours, the rain comes down in qualifying. The usual order goes out of the window, with Rubens Barrichello taking pole for Stewart, ahead of Jean Alesi Sauber and Olivier Panis' Prost.
It's a pleasure to be up here. You have to get everything set up right. Have a great start, a great race. It doesn't change, it just makes things a lot easier.
Race day dawns, and the track is dry. Coulthard, starting in 4th, is the highest placed of the championship contenders. He's followed by Frentzen and Schumacher, with Häkkinen and Irvine way back in 14th and 17th.
The green flag waving in the background shows that everybody's in position. Good start by Barrichello. David Coulthard goes up into 3rd place, so already he has made a position.
The conditions restore the normal form book, with Häkkinen in particular flying up the order from the start. At one point, passing 3 cars into the hairpin.
Mika Häkkinen flying through the field.
Coulthard too is surging forward, passing first Panis, then Alesi, and finally Barrichello to take the lead.
Coulthard challenging for the lead.
It's a bit late, yes. David, but he's made a tremendous move.
Until he retires with an alternator failure.
Rubens Barrichello takes the lead, and David Coulthard looks as though he's out of the race.
As the sky darkens with the promise of rain, Häkkinen overtakes Schumacher, Frentzen and Alesi and begins to chase down Barrichello. Then the heavens open.
I think it's raining. Look at the umbrellas, Murray. It started to rain.
The track becomes almost undrivable and starts to catch drivers out.
Quickly thumping the steering wheel.
Off goes Jean Alesi.
The safety car is scrambled.
They'll be in this lap for sure for wet tyres.
At the restart, Häkkinen goes for the lead.
Well, he caught the white line on the inside.
Through goes Schumacher.
But where Häkkinen fails, Schumacher succeeds.
Look at Schumacher. Fantastic, unbelievable.
The Rainmeister passes Barrichello for the lead and pulls away at a 2nd a lap until he suddenly slows.
What's happened to Michael Schumacher? Look, he's suddenly got Barrichello right behind him.
Ignazio Lunetta, his race engineer, has got a spare steering wheel ready.
A pit stop for a new steering wheel drops him back to 6th, before he asserts his #1 status and is let through by Irvine. Häkkinen tries again, first passing Frentzen for 2nd, then Barrichello for the lead. But Jordan have quietly been playing the long game. Way back when the rain began, they'd given Frentzen a full tank of fuel. The gamble pays off. Both Häkkinen and Barrichello stop again, and the German comes around to take a surprise victory.
Jordan and Heinz-Harald Frentzen win in France. Magnificent.
I had to save a little bit of fuel in one stage, to make it through the end, but the communication worked out perfectly.
Häkkinen rues a lost win, but second on the road means he extends his championship lead over Schumacher. As the two begin to pull away from everyone else in the championship, it's starting to look like 1999 will be another season-long battle between the Finn and the German.
It is a fabulous day here at Silverstone. The crowd here today is a wonderful, colourful sight.
Everything seems normal as the grid sits under blue skies at Silverstone. The McLaren and Ferrari drivers assume their positions at the front of the field.
Mika Häkkinen is on magnificent form here.
So far, it's been all about the two on the front row. Häkkinen on pole is riding high on a wave of points-paying positions. Schumacher in second started the year strong, but needs a season-changing moment to reverse his rival's momentum. Coulthard and Irvine behind are used to playing second fiddle to their more successful teammates. But for all four, the season is about to be turned on its head.
Go at Silverstone!
Two cars stalled, two McLarens at the front. Tremendous getaway from both Häkkinen and Coulthard.
Häkkinen powers off the line, leaving Schumacher in his dust. The two behind make fast starts too, dropping the German to fourth. Back on the grid, Jacques Villeneuve and Ricardo Zonta have both stalled and are stranded. The stewards red flag the race.
Red flag! The race is being stopped.
The front four are speeding through the fast Maggots and Beckett's complex and on to the Hangar Straight. They don't know yet the race has been halted, and Schumacher is keen to repass his teammate.
Two Ferraris fighting each other. Eddie Irvine coming under the
That's Schumacher, isn't
it? The impact is measured at over 100 kilometers an hour.
Michael's struggling to get out of the car a little bit.
The tyre wall isn't properly strapped down, and the car hits the steel barrier behind. The Ferrari's right front wheel bends back into the car's chassis, tearing it open just forward of the cockpit.
That is a big impact,
yeah, at a very considerable speed.
Schumacher tries to get out, but is hit by a pain in his right leg. The medical team arrive to lift him out of the car. He waves to the crowd from the stretcher and is airlifted to hospital. As the reformed grid waits for the barriers to be repaired, the drivers wait for news of Schumacher's injuries. The race gets underway again, and Häkkinen leads away, while Irvine and Coulthard battle over second. The Scot stops first, and it looks like Irvine has done enough to stay ahead as he comes in. But he overshoots his pit box, losing valuable time, and at the rejoin, Coulthard sweeps past with inches to spare. Back at the front, Häkkinen is in a race of his own, until...
Oh, there's a wheel off! That's Häkkinen, lost his left rear.
He comes straight into the pits for a replacement and rejoins, but soon after is back in the pits to retire.
We took a prudent, safe decision with Mika. We weren't sure what the problem was. It's the right thing to do.
Coulthard comes through and is overjoyed to take his first win of the season at his home Grand Prix.
David Coulthard wins the British Grand Prix for McLaren.
It's exactly the jump start his championship needed, and exactly the setback that Häkkinen's didn't. Irvine comes home in a close second. While it could have been a win had he not fluffed his pit stop, the welcome 6 points brings him level with Schumacher for an equal second in the championship, and only 8 behind Häkkinen. After the race, the world's media gather to hear the extent of Schumacher's injuries.
Michael Schumacher was admitted to Northampton General Hospital this afternoon and found to have sustained a straightforward fracture of the right tibia and fibula. These injuries were reduced during a surgical procedure which was uncomplicated.
Although surgery to repair the damage was successful, Ferrari's #1 driver will be out of action for the next few months. The Tifosi's hopes now rest on one man's shoulders, and not the one they'd expected. As the season enters its second half, the understudy steps up to be judged. Eddie Irvine arrives at Austria's A1 ring as Ferrari's #1 driver. The Italian team have parachuted in Finn Mika Salo to race in Schumacher's vacated seat.
It's a great team. I'm really honored to be replacing Michael. Of course, it's unfortunate what happened to him.
But it's looking like Irvine could be the strongest challenger to Häkkinen's claim on the World Championship.
Mika's, he's got a learning curve, very steep learning curve. It's going to be difficult for him, but we'll see.
But his title aspirations look bleak after qualifying, with Häkkinen yet again on pole and over a second quicker around the short Spielberg circuit. Irvine's view ahead at the start is all silver, with David Coulthard starting in second. The Scot may be 18 points behind his McLaren teammate, but he's eager to capitalise on his win last time out, and has his own championship aspirations.
It is go!
The McLarens speed off at the start.
Good one for Mika Häkkinen. Eddie Irvine's got away well, but he's still behind Coulthard.
Coulthard is more focused on his own fight than the red challenge behind, and tries to outbrake Häkkinen going into the tight right-hander of turn 3.
Oh, Coulthard and Häkkinen touch!
Häkkinen can only watch as the entire field flies past.
He's going to have to storm his way through the field.
Meanwhile, Salo drives into the back of Johnny Herbert. A bad start to his Ferrari debut. Häkkinen spins himself the right way round and sets off to fight his way up.
Häkkinen's car is more than fast enough.
Coulthard emerges from his first pit stop and back into the lead, but starts to struggle on the new tyres. Irvine takes his chance. He puts in fast lap after fast lap, and when he comes out of the pits after his own stop, he's jumped into the lead of the race.
He's leading the race and he's got Salo in front of him.
New teammate Salo, a lap down on the lead, lets him through, before holding Coulthard up as much as he can.
So Coulthard now needs to charge and put that Ferrari under pressure.
The Scot is getting quicker and quicker as his fuel load drops, and he's doing everything he can to rescue a result for his team. But it's not enough, and Irvine rounds the final turn to take the checkered flag, just 3/10 ahead of Coulthard.
Eddie Irvine wins brilliantly!
22 seconds later, Häkkinen comes through to take third. Despite being forced by his teammate to give a masterclass in overtaking through the field, he appears unbothered.
To come here to score points was important, and we did that. Whatever happens in the second corner, that's not now important.
These are grown men, they don't need to be treated like children. He made a mistake, he accepts it, it's finished and over with.
Häkkinen is unfazed in qualifying at the next round in Hockenheim, taking pole ahead of Frentzen. Coulthard starts third, and Salo out-qualifies Irvine to bag 4th and 5th for Ferrari. The Ferrari #2 is the best of the starters.
Salo is sprinting up on the left and taking second position.
Shooting past Coulthard off the line, while Häkkinen heads off at the front.
Mika Salo is pushing.
Coulthard tries to retake the position at the chicane, but Salo holds firm.
Coulthard's obviously just had a go at Salo. He's going to lose some front grip with that.
A stop for a replacement wing drops him down to 10th. But his troubles aren't over. He tries to pass Olivier Panis in the Prost and earns himself a 10-second stop-go penalty.
That's another way to overtake somebody, David. That bit of rallycross style on the way out.
Leader Häkkinen is comfortable at the front and comes in for his pit stop. But the fuel rig malfunctions, and the long stop means he rejoins in 4th.
There's a fuel rig problem here at McLaren. They're having to change over.
Mika Salo, in only his second race for Ferrari, takes the lead.
Well, are we going to see what we saw in Austria? Fighting comeback by Mika Häkkinen.
Häkkinen's not out yet, though. He makes a move on Frentzen for third, and then his tyre explodes.
Oh, come on, sorry! Mika Häkkinen collides into the tyres!
It looked like the rear wing post was broken, whether it was a blowout that broke the rear wing, or whether the rear wing mounting broke. There's some pieces that fly out of the rear.
When you spin off like that, you do get some more grey hair.
At the front, Salo allows Irvine past to take the lead.
Eddie Irvine got past Mika
Mikko Salo, probably under team orders.
The Ulsterman takes the win, with the Finn a close second.
Eddie Irvine wins in Germany for Ferrari.
Ferrari's 1-2 finish sees a big swing in the championship. Irvine shoots into the lead, 8 points ahead of Häkkinen.
I never gave the call, thank God. I know what it feels like. You know, Meek, what a star today. Like, you know, it's his race. He's getting the trophy. I'd feel bad if it was sitting on my mantelpiece. He did a fantastic job, I have to say. Absolutely, boy wonder. Incredible.
At the next round in Hungary, it's almost even between Häkkinen and Irvine in qualifying. But the Finn leads away from pole position and opens up a big gap to the Ferrari behind.
It's Häkkinen leading. Eddie Irvine still holding that second position. Fisichella is up into third place.
Coulthard starts slowly, being overtaken first by Fisichella and then Frentzen. But superior strategy from McLaren helps him repass.
Coulthard's going to be in front of Frentzen, look. Yes, that was a great stop by McLaren team. Well done.
And he's soon pressuring Irvine for second.
Giving Irvine a real hurry-up call on lap 46.
Irvine cracks, and on lap 62 understeers off the circuit, letting Coulthard nip past.
That's going to put a smile on the Scots face, not to mention the McLaren team.
Häkkinen takes an easy win ahead of his teammate.
Mika Häkkinen cruises across the line,
making it McLaren's first 1-2 since the Spanish Grand Prix. Third for Irvine still nets him 4 points, but as the F1 circus heads to Belgium, his championship lead looks precarious. The legendary Spa-Francorchamps circuit is up next. It's one of the driver's favourites, and one of the most fearsome. The BAR drivers set out to prove their bravery in practice, daring each other to take the famous Eau Rouge corner flat. Villeneuve is the first to try, with spectacular results.
Oh, and that is a very big one indeed. It's Jacques Villeneuve.
Zonta then has a go.
Oh, that's a terrible crash.
And outlines just how dangerous the circuit can be.
That is a very, very bad accident, but once again, the BAR driver stepping clear.
It doesn't deter Häkkinen, who takes his 10th pole of the season. Irvine, meanwhile, can only manage 6th. But Häkkinen comes unstuck at the start.
Quite a long hold for Häkkinen and Coulthard.
He jumps the lights, stops, and then moves off slowly. Coulthard pulls ahead and squeezes his fellow McLaren into the La Source hairpin. As the two make their way down the hill towards Eau Rouge, Coulthard is in the lead. Irvine behind is struggling to overtake Ralf Schumacher's Williams, so Ferrari put a plan into action, asking Salo to drop his pace.
Salo in 5th place, but he's a minute behind the McLaren.
This battle is significant because at this rate he's just 19 seconds behind Irvine. Irvine's got to stop again, which means that Ralf could pinch 4th place off Irvine, so Salo has to hold him up.
Williams boss Patrick Head marches down the pit lane and tells Ferrari exactly what he thinks of their strategy.
Sporting image of Ferrari.
It works though, and later Irvine comes out of the pits just behind his teammate, who immediately lets him through.
Irvine managed to stay ahead of Ralf Schumacher, which paid off for Ferrari.
But Ferrari's machinations can't dent Coulthard's day, as he leads Häkkinen to another 1-2 finish.
Over the line, slows down to the acclaim of the McLaren mechanics.
Häkkinen is less than overjoyed, feeling that his teammate fought unfairly at the start.
You know, when you have two very competitive cars, equal speed, so that moment is better just to drop and concentrate for your race. It's better than nothing what could happen in the first corner.
Irvine arrives in Monza to the announcement that despite carrying Ferrari's hopes for the championship, he'll be replaced at the team by Rubens Barrichello for 2000. Not even Ferrari's die-hard Tifosi fans can cheer him to success in qualifying. His time is 1.3 seconds slower than Häkkinen's pole lap, and only good enough for 8th on the grid.
Go! Häkkinen gets away well.
But the Finn leads away from the start, using the McLaren speed to pull out an 8-second advantage.
Häkkinen a supreme start, and up comes Zanardi into 2nd place immediately.
But just over halfway through the race, he makes a calamitous mistake. Neither McLaren nor the Tifosi can believe what they're seeing.
And this could blow the World Championship wide open. And Mika Häkkinen is consumed with rage. And the
Heinz-Harald Frentzen goes on to take his second win of the season, ahead of Ralf Schumacher.
10 World Championship points, another magnificent victory for Jordan.
And Mika Salo snatches third to give the Tifosi something else to cheer about. Irvine comes through in 6th position, adding a single point to his championship tally. This brings his total to 60, exactly the same number as Häkkinen. The normally frosty Finn lets out all of his emotion behind a hedge at the side of the circuit. In just 5 races, he's gone from leading the championship to battling to stay in it. In that time, he's spun out while under no pressure, suffered a high-speed puncture, and twice come out on the losing side when battling with his teammate. It doesn't seem to be going his way. With just 3 races left in 1999 and 2 drivers tied at the top, it's going down to the wire.
Expect anything to happen in this race, and it very likely will, especially weather changes.
The championship contenders line up at the legendary Nürburgring for round 14. Irvine starts 9th. His Ferrari has struggled all season against the McLarens, but he's got reliability and a number 2 driver fighting by his side. This could be the only chance he'll ever have at becoming world champion. Häkkinen sits in 3rd, with previous performances hanging over his head. A quick but temperamental car, 2 crashes from the lead, and a teammate who's out for himself mean that, with time running out, each race ahead is an all-or-nothing gamble.
There's no doubt about it. Häkkinen is the fastest man around here this weekend on a bone-dry track.
The contenders know that they need to make every point count in the run to the final race.
Yes, nice one, Frentzen. David Coulthard is blocked by Frentzen. Häkkinen moves up into 2nd position.
The field piles through the first 2 turns.
Oh, somebody's over.
Bang, and that's Sauber upside down.
With Sauber's Pedro Diniz caught in the middle.
Yeah, that's a nasty accident.
Not long after the resulting safety car comes in, the rain starts to fall. The championship leaders opt for different strategies. Häkkinen dives into the pits for wet tyres, while Irvine comes in for dries.
And that looks like another set of slicks to me, James.
It is a set of slicks, absolutely extraordinary.
Right rear.
Not ready on the left rear. There's no tyre.
Ferrari take an age in bringing the tyres out, leaving Irvine stationary for 28 long seconds. He rejoins and sets about making his way back up the field. He soon pulls up behind Häkkinen, who's been lapping seconds off the pace on the wet rubber.
You're on the wrong tyres, Mika, come in.
The 2 battle for 12th position. Irvine passes and Häkkinen slinks back into the pits for dry tyres. Back at the front, it could be anyone's race, but the slippery conditions are taking no prisoners. Frentzen leads until his Jordan breaks down.
Frentzen stops. That's his race run.
Coulthard comes through but goes off into the barriers.
Oh no!
Coulthard. Wow, this is unbelievable.
Fisichella takes over at the front before spinning off.
Down, and there he is, Fisichella.
He stalled it too.
He's out of the race. He's out of the race.
Then Ralf Schumacher does the same before a puncture sends him into the gravel.
And off goes Schumacher.
To his own surprise, Johnny Herbert assumes the lead of the race. He manages to keep his Stewart on the road to the checkered flag and takes the team's first ever Grand Prix victory.
I doubt too many people had their money on Johnny today.
Oh, words fail me. Stewart finished 1st and 3rd.
The race wasn't a complete write-off for one of the championship contenders though. Häkkinen catches up with Irvine, who's running in 6th place, the last of the points-paying positions. He begins to hassle his rival, and going into the chicane, pressures the Ulsterman into making a mistake.
There's the Ferrari over the chicane. Häkkinen takes the place.
He goes on to take 5th, upping his haul from 1 championship point to 2. Irvine finishes 7th, scoring nothing. F1 heads to Sepang for the penultimate round and Malaysia's inaugural Grand Prix. A familiar face returns to the paddock. Michael Schumacher, fully recovered from his injuries, is ready to step back into Ferrari colours. In typical Schumacher style, he's straight back up to speed, taking pole by almost a full second over Irvine. And the German flies away at the start of the race too. At the end of the first lap, he's more than 3 seconds ahead. Behind him, Irvine makes a good start, but is soon struggling to hold back the McLarens. Schumacher, one of the most notoriously competitive drivers in history, comes to his rescue.
Schumacher backing off now to play the team game.
He allows his embattled teammate through and sets about holding up Coulthard behind. There's only so much he can do though. Coulthard barges his way past and is chasing down Irvine ahead when he begins to lose fuel pressure.
There's a McLaren on the pit straight. It must be Coulthard.
Well, that is a sensational development.
Coulthard's retirement means Schumacher retakes second and Häkkinen jumps to third. And when Irvine pits from the lead and rejoins behind his teammate, Schumacher lets him past once more.
Michael knows he's got to do what he's got to do.
The red cars take the checkered flag to seal a Ferrari 1-2.
Irvine leads the World Championship, Ferrari lead the Constructors' Championship, and McLaren are not at all happy.
Schumacher's actions help his former number 2 snatch the championship lead away from Häkkinen. Irvine will head to Japan with a 4-point cushion and is 1 point away from taking Ferrari's first driver's title in 20 years. Until, thanks to a complaint by McLaren, the FIA ruled that Ferrari's barge boards are 1 centimetre too short. Irvine and Schumacher are disqualified from the results, and Mika Häkkinen is the 1999 Formula 1 world champion.
I'm not getting excited anything yet. It's 4 hours after the race and I just seen one piece of paper.
A week later, Ferrari descend on the FIA's Court of Appeal in Paris to try and get the decision overturned. The council reaches its verdict, and Ferrari's victory is restored.
I hope for the good of Formula 1 that they only did find about it at Parc Fermé and that they didn't keep that information in their pocket until they were able to use it to be most damaging. That would be a sad reflection on Formula 1 if they did that.
It's certainly not the way you plan to win a world championship, but it was not due to our mistake. So I think you have the right to mention that, and if something you think it is wrong on a car, you have to mention it.
With the result overturned, F1 heads to Japan for the championship decider.
Mihail, number 1.
Häkkinen needs to win to take a second consecutive crown.
We get in the first row, you know, everything is possible. If we are in the second and third row, the life's going to be difficult.
If he doesn't, then anything higher than 5th for Irvine will be good enough for the title.
No, it's very open. You know, Mika wins the race, he's the champ, you know, and he deserves it. If I beat him, I'm the champ and I deserve it. You know, it's that simple.
It starts badly for the Ferrari driver. A crash in qualifying leaves him 5th on the grid and nursing a sore neck. But he's got the fastest wingman in the world on his side. Schumacher takes pole, leaving Häkkinen 3/10 adrift in second.
You crack once and you're finished. So let's see what happens.
The Finn knows that his best chance will be at the start. If he can get the jump on Schumacher and disappear into the distance, Ferrari will be powerless to take the championship away from him. The grid forms up in front of a tense Japanese crowd.
Michael Schumacher darts across, but Mika Häkkinen gets ahead of him. Yeah. Mika Häkkinen a marvellous start, and he's streaking away already. This is exactly what the Finn wanted, exactly what Michael Schumacher didn't want.
Häkkinen's blistering start stuns Schumacher. The German makes a half-hearted attempt to come across the track and defend, but quickly realises he's already lost the lead.
It's looking good so far for Mika Häkkinen, and he appears to have the pace, but we know Michael Schumacher is very, very strong around this racetrack.
Irvine also makes a good start to jump past Coulthard into 4th, but it's not good enough for the championship, unless his teammate can take the lead. With a season of mechanical failures and uncharacteristic mistakes in the back of his mind, Häkkinen speeds off into the distance, with Schumacher in hot pursuit. The first stops come around and Coulthard manages to squeeze past Irvine for third.
There it is, look, here it is.
There is Coulthard.
That is so close. Yes, he's done it.
The two drop away from the leaders. Then the Scot puts a wheel on the grass.
Oh, it's Coulthard's off. Coulthard has gone off.
He manages to keep the car going, but a stop for a new nose leaves him a lap behind and right in front of Schumacher. The German, feeling that one McLaren has held him up in pursuit of the other, shows Coulthard what he thinks, then sets about trying to steal the title for his teammate.
Michael Schumacher fighting every inch of the way.
He pushes his Ferrari as fast as it will go, hunting down the McLaren ahead and setting the fastest lap of the race. Half a lap behind, Irvine can only watch on the trackside TV screens and cross his fingers. But not even the great Michael Schumacher can take it away from Häkkinen.
And there's Ron Dennis waiting to greet his man home, and he's going to be truly ecstatic.
The Finn has flown. With a 5-second cushion to the chasing Ferrari, he takes the checkered flag.
Mika Häkkinen wins in Japan!
To become a 2-time world champion.
It is a different feeling, obviously, but this year was a very difficult year. And deciding the championship in the last Grand Prix, it's nerve-wracking, and I really don't recommend it to anybody. That
we won the Constructors' Championship, which is important. We didn't win the one I would like or Ferrari would like for sure, but we did get a consolation prize.
Brilliant.
And that is how the 1999 Formula One season was won.